Hello and welcome to King's Cross. Opened in 1852, this has always been such an important link for London, connecting not only the suburbs in the north, but also Scotland and most of the east coast. But we're not here today for a history lesson. No, we're in fact off on a journey up to York. So what's so special about this visit then? Well, whilst I have been up to York before, it's the first time I've ever been up via Grand Central. And I've heard loads of positive and negative things about them, whether they be friends or relatives. So I thought I'd try it out for myself. So it's currently 20 to 7. My train leaves at past near about. So I need to go get my tickets and I'll see you on board. So it turns out I have quite a lot more time than I first thought. So here's a quick whistle stop tour around King's Cross. We've got the massive arch in the middle. There's platform 3 9/4 if you've never been.
The ticket office.
And of course the bird cage. There used to be a swing inside, but you know, social distancing. So one of the questions I might get asked is, how is King's Cross during lockdown? Or at least as it is now. I've got to say, the one-way system is pretty immense. Like, you're walking from either end of the station at times, but it is pretty well managed. And I did run out of things to show you inside the station, so I've decided to come outside. So this whole new development is going to be Google. And I believe YouTube headquarters is just over there. Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna get a coffee and wait for the train. Right, so they haven't announced the platform yet, but there's about 10 minutes to go, so I thought I'd go and have a look at some trains, since that seems like the next best thing. Again, this gate line, I swear it is never closed. No matter when you come, it's always open, even when you're leaving. So yeah. Oh, look what we have here. Pretty cool photo now. Right, so I'm having a gamble. I think it's platform 5. There's 2 Grand Central trains which are just lying here. The one on the left has just come, so yeah. Now, I know some of you know your trains very well, so I'm sure you're gonna let me know what type this is, because all I know, it takes me to York. So it turns out that it's also very noisy. So it turns out that Grand Central was actually voted the best rail service in the National Passenger Rail Survey in 2018. So I'm gonna see what all the fuss is about. We are number 9.
This is a Grand Central service for Sunderland, calling at York, Thirsk, Northallerton, Eaglescliffe, Hartlepool and Sunderland.
So, what do I think about Grand Central so far? Well, the seats are pretty comfortable. They are quite low down in terms of like where the head is, so you can see across like absolutely everyone, which I'll cut across to now. But apart from that, it's comfy and it's absolutely roasting in there. It is so warm. That's the only negative thing I can say so far. So let's do some facts about Grand Central. Well, it's the first of 4 different open access operators that run in the UK. What is open access? Well, essentially it means it's a privately owned company that runs commercial routes on sort of public networks. So it needs to pay for the route, it needs to pay for running like their trains on the track, and it's basically a profit-led business. So there's 4 in the UK. Grand Central is one of them. The other ones, in case you were interested, were there's Heathrow Express. There's also all trains breaking. There's also Hull Trains, which uses the East Coast Main Line as well up to Hull. and Eurostar. So there is also plans for an additional one coming up, hopefully next year, but it's probably going to be delayed, run by First. So Grand Central is run by Aviva. So there's a new one which is going up from Edinburgh all the way down to London, and hopefully that will bring cheaper cost tickets. And this is the whole idea: more competition, more seats, and in the end cheaper prices for customers. But we'll see how that goes. So where does Grand Central actually go? Well, I would have shown you a map, but I can't find one on this train. So here's one I made earlier. Well, in 2007, Grand Central operated passenger rail services on the East Coast Main Line from King's Cross to Sunderland. 3 years later, in May 2010, it opened a route extending to Bradford Interchange from King's Cross as well, splitting just after York. There were also plans for the company to operate between London Euston and Blackpool North via the West Coast Main Line. However, it's recently been announced that this has been cancelled due to the whole pandemic and the route being unfeasible at current. And we're finally here at York. Some of you may realise that it's far brighter than when I left, and that's because my battery died, so I'm filming this on the way down to London again. So in all, what are my impressions of Grand Central? Well, it was a pretty good service. It was relatively on time, it was fast. I'm not a huge fan of the seats, I have to say, but there was a table at every seat, which was good. So I had my laptop, had my plug, it was all good in that sense. The trains are quite old compared to the LNER ones, and hence they were really noisy. There was also no catering, but that's because of the whole social distancing thing. But in all, I felt that Grand Central was a pretty good service to get on, considering the price, the fact you get a table, and it's like non-stop to York. But let me know what you guys think. Have any of you travelled via Grand Central, and what are your thoughts on it? Anyway, all, thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Keep safe, and I'll see you next time.